Okay, I think we're online, so welcome. Hello. Thank you to everyone here. I am Alessandra Migliaccio. I'm a reporter, a journalist at Bloomberg News, and I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us in this event organized by the Bank of Italy and OECD. Global Money Week is an annual financial education awareness raising campaign. It's designed to encourage a wide range of stakeholders and to motivate young people to learn about money matters, which is incredibly important in our society today. The ultimate goal of Global Money Week is to ensure that all youth have access to high quality financial education and that they learn about money matters and how it connects to the reality, to real life, and ultimately to our earth and environment. So this year, Plan Your Money and Plant Your Future is the official theme of Global Money Week 2023. The theme focuses on sustainability and on raising awareness of the implications of individual financial behavior and what effect they can have on the environment and on society. This year, the GMW is also celebrated by the support of the G20 presidency of India. So we are very, very pleased. It's another testimony of the relevance of the campaign of financial literacy globally. So welcome to the hundreds of people who are here with us through Zoom, including young people from many, many countries who are watching our live stream. So without further ado, I'd like to begin with our opening remarks and to introduce our speaker, which is Mr. Yoshiki Takeuchi. He's Deputy Secretary General of the OECD. Mr. Takeuchi has a distinguished career of nearly 4 decades at the Japanese Ministry of Science of Finance. He has a wealth of experience in the field of international economy and finance. He's worked in various ways closely with the IMF, with the World Bank, with the Asian Development Bank, and other regional development institutions. And he also led Japan's G20 presidency finance team. So thank you very much. Mr. Takeuchi, you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to launch the 2023 edition of the Global Money Week. This year marks the 11th year of Global Money Week, a global campaign for financial education and awareness, which is celebrated, as you have said, in over 100 countries around the world. Let me acknowledge and thank the Bank of Italy for its valuable collaboration this year, including for this launch event. And let me also thank the Indian G20 presidency for their support to the campaign. The theme of the 2023, Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future, emphasizes that personal financial decisions not only impact on an individual's financial future, but also influence society and the environment. The way we each manage and spend our money has a collective impact. In recent years, the essential role that finance plays in ensuring a sustainable development pathway for the future generations and for our planet has become more evident to everyone. Young people are especially attuned to the importance of taking action for a greener and more sustainable future. We're actually seeing this in the changing patterns of consumers around the world, who are shifting everyday purchases towards greener and more sustainable alternatives. And demand for sustainable financial products in many countries is also on the rise. But there are challenges for consumers. For example, how can they know which financial products are truly sustainable? How can they identify and protect themselves from greenwashing? Here, financial education has a crucial role to play in equipping the individuals, including young people, with the knowledge and skills they need to navigate an evolving and complex financial context. Financial education can also raise awareness about the importance of adopting a responsible, informed, and forward-looking approaches to financial decisions. This includes how to prepare for future risks, including those related to climate change, whether financial risks from the transition to net zero or material risks such as natural disasters. Ultimately, future financial and even future physical well-being of each individuals is connected to the health of the planet and society. And young people today will more and more need to face these challenges. However, despite their genuine concerns about sustainability, many young people do not yet have the skills to act upon these values. Recent OECD PISA reports and assessments highlight that many high school-aged children need to improve their financial knowledges and skills to improve their own future well-being and to take meaningful actions to support the environment. Policymakers and financial education providers have a key role to play in supporting young people to navigate this complex and uncertain future road ahead. The OECD adopted in 2020 a recommendation on financial literacy precisely on this issue. The recommendation makes clear that financial literacy programs should promote more awareness of saving and investment decisions' impact on society and the environment. The OECD is now working with the European Commission to develop a financial competency framework for youth and children in the EU. This builds on the framework we launched last year with the Commission on financial competencies for adults. Our new framework incorporates sustainable finance competencies designed to guide the behaviors and attitudes of the young people. At the global level, the OECD's International Network on Financial Education is advancing work on sustainable finance and financial literacy through analysis, data gathering, and policy guidance. And drawing on the G20 OECD principle on financial consumer protection, which we recently updated, we aim to ensure that both demand and supply side policies are in place so that consumers can safely and confidently make the most of the sustainable finance products and services. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the face of global economic turmoil and long-term challenges like climate change, informed financial decision-making is more important than ever. Efforts to promote financial literacy should continue to receive the resources and recognition they deserve. Young people are among the groups with lowest level of financial literacy in many countries around the world. We must not fail them. We must continue empowering them with the knowledge, skills, and behaviors they need to safeguard their incomes, assets, and wealth. And we must give them tools they need to take care of the future of the planet. The participation of over 100 countries in the Global Money Week in recent years, reaching millions of children and young people, testifies that the campaign is just as relevant today as it was 11 years ago. It is never too early to start talking to children about money, and this campaign must just be the opportunity that some of you or some of us were waiting for. The OECD is proud to support Global Money Week, which continues to be an unmissable appointment on the financial education calendar worldwide. So I want to thank the organizations, institutions, policymakers, and young people that participate in it year by year and make it a success. On behalf of the OECD, I congratulate you all for your efforts and wish you a wonderful Global Money Week ahead. Thank you very much. And back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Takeuchi. So I'd like to move on to our next segment. In our next segment, we'll have two speeches on the importance of financial literacy and financial inclusion of young people, as we were saying, for the India G20 presidency and the GPFI. So our two speakers will be Mr. Ashwani Bhatia. He's the whole-time board member of the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Mr. Bhatia has extensive, obviously, experience also in finance and the economy. Prior to his assignment, he held the position of Managing Director of the State Bank of India. He has over 3 decades of experience in the State Bank Group, where he worked for many years, and he has wide experience in treasury operations, retail banking, credit, the works. And our next speaker, the other speaker in this segment, is Magda Bianco. She's head of Consumer Protection and Financial Education Department of the Bank of Italy, and she's co-chair of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, so the GPFI, and chair of the OECD INF. Ms. Magda Bianco has also extensive experience. She's been at the Bank of Italy since the 1980s, where she worked in the research department and many other departments. And in 2020, she became managing director and head of the new Director General for Consumer Protection and Financial Education, which is very much our topic. So we begin this next segment with Mr. Bhatia. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandra. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thankful to the OECD and INFE for giving me this opportunity to address this event. This year is also special because India has the G20 presidency. Global Money Week is an annual global event to raise awareness amongst people from all walks of life and help them to be financially resilient and independent. The theme for this year's celebration is Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future. Let me just take you through some numbers on India. And as we know, we are still recovering from the COVID impact. This experience has left us with one clear lesson. Each one of us has to be financially independent and resilient. And second, we need to think and act sustainably. Just on the numbers, as per a survey of 2019, our financial literacy in India stands at only 27%. The population of the country then in 2019 was 1.3 billion. We recently became the most populous nation in the world, out of which 820 million were financially illiterate. So what we need to do is really, really big and challenging. Only 33% of the urban and 24% of rural population is literate. 29% of males are financially literate against only 21% of the female population. The 18 to 29 age group is the most financially literate in the age category. Lesser the education and income, lesser the financial literacy. The least financially literate are women homemakers at only 17%. Agriculture comes next with 10%. A look at the financial inclusion figure suggests that banking products and services, the inclusion is already at 87%. We've achieved a decent amount of success there. But financial inclusion in the non-banking products and services is only 16%. So this includes mutual funds, capital markets, insurance, life insurance, so on and so forth. Amongst other factors, sustained financial literacy programs being conducted in India have given a boost to investments in the capital markets. Investors have been made aware of various avenues and investments other than banking. The same is evident from the numbers of the Indian securities market. Let me just tell you the story of the last 5 years, which is by all yardsticks, very, very impressive. The number of mutual fund folios has gone up from 69.9 million to 144.2 million as of 28th of February 2023. So this is more than two times. The SIP contribution has increased from 0.67 trillion rupees to 1.2 trillion rupees this year. And the number of Demat accounts, which stood at 31 million in 2018, has gone up to 110 million as of January 2023. So as I said, by any yardstick, the numbers are truly impressive. However, the exponential growth in the participation of the common man in the securities market has encouraged financial literacy to only 27%. Around 8% of people in India have some awareness and they have holdings in capital markets, but only 4% financial inclusion has been there in the commodities market. Another aspect, which is a participation of women in the markets, the figures disappoint, and we certainly need to do much more. Out of the total number of folios in the Indian mutual fund industry, women investors hold only 5%. The number of demat accounts, the women hold only 18%. This necessitates demand-side intervention, focusing on persistent efforts to be made for all vulnerable sections of the society, including women, differently abled people, senior citizens, etc. Supply-side intervention, including steps that have taken, including ease of investment in the markets, including digitization, dematerialization of securities, introduction of T+1 settlement, and the opening of 482 million bank accounts to cater to the basic banking needs of the population. I feel elated to say that against a population of 1.4 billion, the total number of bank accounts today exceed 1.5 billion. On the banking side, as I said, we've done very well. So this underlines the importance of financial literacy and investor education as defined by OECD INFE. Financial literacy is a combination of awareness, knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior necessary to make sound financial decisions and ultimately achieve individual financial well-being. It encompasses an understanding of how to use credit responsibly, manage money and savings, minimize risks, and derive long-term benefits from savings. We in India emphasize all these topics while designing the structure and conducting awareness workshops. Indeed, one cannot achieve financial well-being without literacy. So our job is to ensure that no one is left behind and everyone, regardless of age, region, or socioeconomic status, achieves and develops these skills. To spread awareness and financial education, SEBI, we as the regulators, have created a network of resource persons over the years who conduct workshops, both in rural and urban areas. Since its inception, we've covered nearly 6.2 million people. To scale up efforts further, National Center for Financial Education has been established by the financial regulators. During the Global Money Week 2022, financial education webinars were conducted across the country. Quiz contests, essay writing contests were organized for students and youth. Educational content, financial education booklets were made available to participants for further enhancement of their financial knowledge. This year, we are organizing national level webinars in coordination with financial sector regulators on the theme of GMW 2023 for college students and youth. All over the country, financial education programs will be conducted by trainers through social media, which will extensively use to enhance reach. This will help in inculcating the habit of savings and investment amongst the youth at an early date so that they become part of our economic growth. So clearly, our focus is from saving to investing. For me, the Global Money Week is a platform where the international community can join hands to move forward towards building a sustainable future by imparting financial literacy and empowering people. I'm sure that consumers in financial markets, especially those who are new entrants, will make use of this opportunity to hear from market experts and understand the concepts of financial planning and take care while transacting in financial markets. With the growth of technology and introduction of digital financial services and solutions like the unified payment interface, we think we are leaders over here. The Social Security Aadhaar enabled payment system, the dynamism of financial literacy has also changed. I would like to emphasize that we must continue our efforts for greater financial inclusion in pursuance of the goal of a sustainable future for all. Thank you very much for this opportunity once again. I convey my best wishes to all the investors on this occasion. And as the hosts of the G2 presidency, we look forward to more interaction with all regulators and participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. Ms. Bianco, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Alessandra. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. It's a real pleasure being here today. A few words on G20. The G20 is the group of the 20 large countries, which was created in 1999 to promote the international cooperation on economic and financial matters. And it operates through working groups. One of these working groups, which I believe is very important for today's discussion and today's presentation, is the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, GPFI in short. Well, its objective is really to increase financial inclusion and financial well-being of people in G20, but also non-G20 countries. This means increasing the access to and usage of good quality financial products and services like payments, accounts, credit, insurance, especially for the most vulnerable. And this includes young people, the object of today. And financial inclusion is very important because it is an instrument to promote economic empowerment, to increase the resilience, to reduce inequalities and poverty. Now, what do we work on? How do we increase financial inclusion? Well, in a very digitalized world, you need good infrastructures that reach all, and India is working a lot on this. You need also consumer protection to make sure that customers can trust the financial system. But you need a lot of financial literacy. And in our work, the work of GPFI, financial education ranks really high. It is one of the essential components, an essential ingredient for financial inclusion. Without increasing financial literacy, it is really difficult to ensure an effective, responsible use of all financial instruments, especially the digital ones, which today offer enormous opportunities, but also substantial challenges and risks of exclusion, for example, of bad usage also. For children and young people, the digitalization of financial services has the potential to really allow to plan their future, to live better, to realize their aspirations. But if they want to be really empowered to decide about their life, their future, they need to be able to plan their money and hence to invest in this competence in financial literacy, to be able to save, to use properly the digital finance, avoiding its risks like frauds, the easiness to use it and not being aware. Well, within the GPFI, in synergy with the OECD International Network, which works on financial education, we have prepared some policy recommendations for G20 and non-G20 countries on how to work with schools, using also innovative teaching methods, using games, the new technologies, using also behavioral insights to address some of our biases. The Global Money Week is really becoming a consolidated practice for many G20 and non-G20 countries to discuss about these topics with young people, a really powerful tool. And I think this launch event provides a unique opportunity to speak with one voice at one moment to students, teachers, institutions from all over the world to demonstrate that ours is really a joint and coordinated effort aimed at a single goal of increasing young people's financial literacy and through this, their future well-being. So thank you to all who are here today, but also to those who organized and we participate to the initiatives who will really help to plan our money and plant our future. We do hope there will be many of them. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Bianco. Grazie. So let's move on to our panel discussion, which is very exciting because of the format and the way it's organized. I'm really very happy about the discussion, and we'll begin with our distinguished panel. So the way it works is representatives from public institutions involved in financial education will answer questions from young people around the world on topics such as money management, investing, digital payments, financial security, etc. So this will provide the opportunity to reflect on the role of financial education in promoting greater resilience and well-being among our youth. So our panelists, we have Rohit Chopra. He's director of the US's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And we have Ziad Al-Youssef, Deputy Governor for Development and Technology of the Saudi Central Bank. Friederike Vidyazari Dewi, I hope I pronounced it correctly, who is a Chief Executive of Market Conduct Supervision, Education and Consumer Protection for Indonesia's Financial Services Agency. Maurizio Costa da Moura, Deputy Governor and Institutional Relations, Citizenship and Conduct Supervision, Banco Central do Brasil. And Ana Maria Luzardi, University Professor of Economics and Accountancy at George Washington University School of Business, and founder and academic director of the Global Financial Literacy Excellence Center. So perfect to begin our discussions, and how it will work is we'll actually have questions from all over the world which have been collected and which will be shown in short videos. So I take the opportunity to thank our students who participated, Aurora and Sofia from Italy. We have Kule and Bule Benkosi from South Africa, Dasha from the Ukraine, and Mateo from Ecuador, and Iman from Morocco. So very exciting moment. Just before launching the first video with our question, I would just like to remind panelists and participants to please keep to 5 minutes for responses, because we have a great many questions and a lot of ground to cover. Thank you very much. And here is our first video, which will be from South Africa, from Kule.
Hello, my name is Gushia Chambula. I'm the 2019 Financial Literacy Speech Competition winner, and I'm currently doing my 3rd year in Entrepreneurship and Innovation in Stellenbosch University. My question is, my parents have often told me that I needed to have my own account in order for me to keep track of the money that I get and the money that I spend. But this seems like something that's difficult to manage because I don't know how to keep my money safe. What advice would you give me and other young people in my position?
Perfect. And we thank Kule from South Africa. So Mr. Al-Youssef, would you like to take that first question? Very practical question.
Yes, thank you, Kule. Well, this is a significant query, and it's unquestionably best to begin planning your money when you are younger, which is reflected in this year's theme of Global Money Week, Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future. It might seem challenging since it's likely the first time you have been given this level of financial responsibility, yet it's not difficult at all. With more practice, you will notice the development of your money management skills. For example, you remember when you were young, how was it your first experience of riding a bike? Certainly, it wasn't easy at the beginning, and it included some accidents. But with the little help of your parents or an adult, and taking safety precautions such as wearing a helmet and so on, you were able to learn, and then you were able to drive your own. With the presence of a small wheel supporting the bike, and with practice, you were finally able to drive with your own and without even having no support for the wheels. You can think of the financial planning skills as any skills. In the beginning, you need a little help, support, and conscious practice. You may face some urgent problems, but you can protect yourself by taking some precautions. And in the end, you will find yourself planning your money better day after day. Creating a budget is the first and most crucial step. It is essential for effective money management. First, you should identify your income and expenses, identify where you are spending, taking into account what is needed, what is a need and what is a want. After that, keeping records is the best way to track your income and expenses. So you could get help with that from an excessive number of website resources and applications. Next, set both short-term and long-term saving goals and decide how much you want to save each budgeting cycle. Planning for your longer-term needs, such as education or buying a car, is very important. So saving could be the best approach to covering them. I highly recommend that you open a saving account. However, some accounts have terms that means that you can only contribute a certain amount each month, while others let you add to your savings as much as you want. Try to find out what type of saving account best suits you. Start to implement and adhere to your budget. Finally, check in and reevaluate if needed. Moreover, never forget that to budget effectively and to spend less than what you earn. Again, take the step and start planning your money to plan your future. Hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was extremely helpful and very practical advice. So we'll move to our next question in our next video. We are very, very pleased to have a video from the Ukraine from Dasha. Let's see what she has to ask.
Hello, my name is Dasha. I'm from Ukraine. I'm 20 years old and I'm a student of Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv. Scrolling through social media, I often see people giving financial advice such as how to invest or whether to buy a crypto asset. Their content is quite appealing and they promise to teach you how to make a lot of money in a short time. Should I trust them, and how can I spot an untrustworthy content?
Thank you to Dasha. This is a very important question about trust and about what you can trust. I think I would like to ask Mr. Chopra and Mr. Costa Damora perhaps to answer the questions. If maybe we'll start with Mr. Chopra. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alessandra, and especially thank you to Dasha for that question, which I think actually is something all over the globe we're thinking about, is the role of social media. We know that it is increasingly a way that people can connect, but not many people understand the business model of some of these social media firms. In many ways, that ad isn't like a big billboard. It's hyper targeted at you, the individual. These companies, YouTube, TikTok, others, they are constantly tracking you. They actually know sometimes when you're sad or depressed or excited, to try to find that moment when you're most likely to click on an ad and buy something. It's part of why it's so important for people to understand that social media has become a cesspool for scams, fraud, and crime. And I really think it's so important that people really are skeptical on any type of financial service marketing or advertising. At the CFPB, we're the chief regulator for consumer protection on financial products in the US, and we've been conducting some research on how younger individuals interact with financial technology. And we think it's incredibly important for people to be skeptical, to really focus on unbiased sources of information, especially government sources, where there is not a potential for impact by financial incentives, and really to make sure that you're asking others before you dive in with a big investment. You know, we've seen, for example, a proliferation of crypto scams online, baiting people in, and some people losing an incredible amount of money. We really want to make sure that we're never going to be able to outspend the marketers and advertisers of these big tech company platforms. So I think it's important, again, to be skeptical, to look for objective information, and to really make sure that you know what you're getting into before you pull the trigger.
Thank you. Yes, be skeptical, definitely. Mr. Costa Damora, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I do, Alessandra. Thank you very much, Alessandra, and thank you very much, Dasha, for this very good question. In fact, social media can be an awesome way to find information, but it also can be risky because anyone can post anything. So you got to be careful and only trust reliable sources of information. This is true whether you are working on a school project, planning a trip, looking for a health advice, or trying to figure out how to invest your money. Social media influencers are all about making themselves look interesting, being super cool and fun. It's not necessarily good or bad. That's their job, but it's something to keep in mind. Just be aware that they might be trying to sell you something. Many of them are spreading useful information, while some might not even know or use the products they are promoting. So it's important to learn how to tell the difference between fact and opinion, the truth and fake news, and people who want to help you from those who just want to make money from themselves, for themselves. Here are some tips to help you out. First, beware of fads and things that appear overly complicated. Financial advice isn't always wrong, but it might not be right for you. Gamification-based online platform may appear to be a simple and safe way to invest, but they can lead you to take risks that are not for you. Keep in mind that a fad could also be a scam. Scammers can be of any age, gender, or profession. They are looking for the greedy, and they usually try to entice people to do something by making it sound very appealing. Remember that if something appears to be too good to be true, it mostly is not. Beware of cryptocurrency and gambling websites. Cryptocurrencies can be risky, and most of these websites are not regulated by financial authorities. And gambling sites may advertise themselves as investments, but gambling is what it is. Many loses to a few win, and people can lose all their money if they rely on luck. Second, talk to your family and teachers about reliable sources of information. Look for information from serious websites, magazines, and newspapers, and from government agents, as said Chopra before. Check out the central bank or the Security Exchange and Exchange Commission websites in your country for good financial education content. Here at the Central Bank of Brazil, we use the guidelines, handbooks, and toolkits produced by the OECD, International Network on Financial Education, the INF, and the experience from other policymakers that are members of the network as a reference to build our financial education programs. And finally, plan your investments based on your goals. Don't just save money. Give it a purpose, label it. It must be something important to you for you in the near or distant future, like buying a sneaker or going to college. And don't forget about retirement. As young as you are, it might seem far away, but sorry to say, you age faster than you think. And it's never too early to start saving for retirement. Math and financial education will teach you how to use the power of interest that build up over time. Start as soon as you can. You'll be surprised at how quickly small amounts of money can add up over time and how important 5 years can be for your retirement savings. So start today. Many studies show that the sooner you learn and apply financial education to daily life, the sooner you will be able to achieve your financial goals. At last, invest regularly and do not put all your eggs in one basket. Investing in different things is likely to be your best plan. Back to you, Alessandra.
Thank you. Thank you very much. To both of you, very solid advice and thinking about the future, even if they are very young. So thanks again. So our next question is from Italy. It's actually from the youngest student on our pool today, from Sofia. So on to our next question.
Hi, I'm Sofia, I'm 16 years old and I live in Italy. I attend the high school Marco Tullio Cicerone in Frascati, Rome, and I study human sciences. Talking with my friends and grown-ups, I get the feeling that girls feel less comfortable than boys in talking about economic and financial issues. What advice would you give to girls and young women about being confident and capable of managing their money well?
An important question. So are girls less informed? Are they less confident? I think I'd like to call on two women to answer that. So Federica Vidyasari Dewi and Anna Maria Luzardi. I'd like to begin with Ms. Vidyasari Dewi. Thank you.
Hi, Alessandra. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Thank you, Sophia, for a very, very good question. And I think it's applied to all women, all girls in the world. Before I answer Sophia's question, of course, I would like to say that being sufficiently financially literate is important for men and women, but moreover for women. Why? Because there are several reasons. First, we often heard about women are the finance ministers in the housewife. This is a very, we conducted a survey in Indonesia a few years ago that more than 50% financial management in the housewife, in the household, held by housewife, 48% held by both husband and wife, and only 1% held by men. And the second reason, Sophia and all girls who might want to know, I think being financially independent is very important for all girls and all women. Why? Because we often hear about domestic violence everywhere, whether it's psychologically or physically violence. So for women to be financially independent is very important. So you have to prepare the future from now for all girls. If I have a boy and girl, I will be more concerned about my daughter future, about being financially independent, so they can have a bright future and they can choose the future that they want with being financially independent. Another reason is because women has a longer life expectancy than men. Surveys say that. So having that, women and all girls must prepare for the financially independent for the future. From national point of view, in some countries, for example, women are the critical economic players. For example, in Indonesia, the number of women is almost 50% of the total population. So it's a critical economic player that women must be financially literate. The second reason is for the owner of micro and small medium enterprises in Indonesia, owned by women. So for women, for being financially literate and being independent in financial is very important, so they can manage their businesses, so they can become economic player in Indonesia, in the country. And other reason. Sophia and all who might want to understand more about financial literacy as well, I like to quote a very good quote from Michelle Obama. She said that when women are educated, the countries become stronger and more prosperous. So that's why, Alessandra, I would like to highlight the importance for women and girls to be financially independent. Then that must be prepared from early, from beginning, very young age, so they can plan their future from now on by being financially literate. Thank you, Alessandra.
Thank you. And thank you for the inspiring words and message to young women which are watching us right now. Ms. Luzardi, would you like to add to that?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sophia, for these great questions. And your feeling is very much correct. Both in my research as an academic that does a lot of work on financial literacy, and also in my work as policy maker or as a director actually of the Financial Education Committee in Italy, in charge of implementing a national strategy for financial literacy, we have found that women, young women and girls are indeed less comfortable in talking about economics and financial issues. And I have several pieces of advice for that. The first is that it is very important to overcome that fear, that discomfort, because it holds girls back. That lack of comfort, for example, prevents girls from engaging in financial decisions that can be important for their future. According to our research, when actually women grow up, we see that they are not comfortable in managing their finances, for example, in investing in the stock market, and this will have an effect on how much they can grow their wealth. And this is so important and well known that I wanted to tell you that some years ago, a statue of a little girl has been put in front of the Raging Bull in Wall Street. The Raging Bull represents the stock market, and it was named Fearless Girl. And that's my first invitation to all of the girls, which is be fearless. Be fearless, because fears can hold you back. But how do you do so? How do you become fearless? One way is to start studying this topic in school. Become familiar with the basic concepts of finance and personal finance. And if your school doesn't teach it, ask for it, or ask to do a project with your teacher. It is a very important skill to learn, and to learn it in a rigorous way. I always say knowledge is power. I teach personal finance at my own university, and I see that at the end of the course, both male and female students do well, and female students in particular become comfortable and fluent in the language of finance. And start talking about this topic with your family and with your trusted friends. Make it a topic of conversation with people that cares about you and your well-being. It is too important for you, you cannot ignore it. Remember that the topic this year of the Global Money Week is Plant Your Future, and investing in knowledge is a way of building your future. And just to at the end, I wanted to say, always use trusted source of information, as some of the people have mentioned before. And I also want to say and advise you to use the website that the committee has designed to improve the knowledge of everybody, including young people. It is called Quello che conta. .gov.it. I have to say this word in Italian is a plain word, but it means what matters. And we have posted there a lot of material also for young people. So there are simple but rigorous sources of information, and for example, app, games, and other pieces of information that can be useful for improving your knowledge. But more than anything, be fearless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Luzzardi. So be fearless and take control of your destiny for girls and women out there. So we'll move to our next question. Our next question is from Ecuador and from Mateo.
I'm Mateo Borja from Ecuador. I study at Universidad San Francisco de Quito. And like many people of my age, I use my smartphone a lot. I also use it for buying things in the store, and I find it really useful, mostly because I don't have to carry money around with the fear of losing it. But is it always safe? What are the risks I should be aware of?
So big thank you to Mateo for that question. Mr. Al-Youssef, would you like to answer that one?
Sure, and thank you, Mateo, for the question. So mobile payment or digital payment have revolutionized the way we make payments, providing a fast and convenient and secure way to transfer money and pay for goods and services. With the rise of mobile payments, users can easily make transactions on the go using their smartphones without having to carry around cash or a card. However, while mobile payments offer convenience and speed, there are also several risks associated with those methods of digital payments. which includes first, fraud. Fraud is a major risk associated with mobile payments. With the increased use of digital payments, hackers and cyber criminals are finding new ways to steal personal and financial information and access mobile payments accounts. They can use malware or phishing attacks or other methods to gain unauthorized access to your account, which can lead to fraudulent transactions. Second are technical glitches or failures. This risk is associated with digital payment generally, while technical glitches or system failures can result in lost or incorrect payments. This can be caused by bugs or mobile payments app issues or the networks. Third are privacy violations. Some mobile payment apps may collect, store, and share your personal information with third parties without your consent. This can include information about your purchasing habits, location data, and other sensitive information. So to mitigate these risks, it's important to take steps to secure your mobiles and your account, such as setting strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, keeping your mobile software up to date, only downloading and using apps that are from reputable or unauthorized sources, regularly monitor your mobile payment transaction for any unauthorized activity, and also reporting any suspicious activities to your provider, your payment provider, or your bank. So in conclusion, mobile payments can be a convenient and secure way to making purchases, but it's also important to be aware of the risks involved and take necessary precautions to protect your personal and financial information. Then you can reduce the probability of these risks and safely use those digital or mobile payments without the fear of losing your money or personal information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the very useful and wise advice. Our next question will be from South Africa, from Bulebin Kosi, who again is from South Africa. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Bulebin Kosi Dlamini, and I'm a first-year student at the University of Johannesburg. I am studying Bachelor of Accounting. Our teachers say that there is a relationship between education, job opportunities, and future income. So what tip would you give to students of my age on how to plan their personal educational or training path looking into the future? Thank you.
Thank you. A very, very important question about education and the future. So I think for that one, I'd like to ask Mr. Costa de Moura and Ms. Vidyazari Dewi. Mr. de Moura, would you like to begin?
Yes, Alessandra, thank you very much. That's a very interesting question indeed. Good question, Bulebin Kosi. I hope I don't miss your name. Yes, your teacher are right, as education is essential for earning a higher income. The more educated you are, the more money you are likely to make in your career. However, it's essential to remember that getting a diploma or a degree is not the only way to earn a higher paycheck. Knowledge and experience are also crucial factors. In addition to formal education in school, internships and on-job training can increase your earnings in your adult life. Combining theory and practice is the best approach. But remember that broader education is also crucial. Reading good books, watching clever online content, and learning from experienced people are all important for your future career. According to the OECD, education has a wide range of benefits for both individuals and societies. Education contributes to greater productivity and economic growth. Moreover, education has spillover effects that foster innovative ideas, leading to a greater number and quality of job opportunities. When compared to those with lower levels of education, people with higher levels of education are more likely to find employment, to remain employed, learn new skills on the job, and earning more over their working life. Non-formal and informal learning also pay off by reducing the costs and time required to acquire formal education. And vocational programs yield benefits by helping people learn practical skills that are relevant for the available jobs. In other words, to achieve and maintain economic well-being, you are expected to study throughout your whole life. Professionals with higher income are not only those who have a better education, but also those who are more specialized and skilled. Have you ever thought about what you want to do for a living in the future? Are you aware that your future profession may not even exist today? When your grandparents were your age, they never planned to be computer scientists because computers didn't exist at the time. Likewise, when your parents were at your age, they never thought about being YouTubers or TikTokers. So if you are too young to figure out what you want to be when you grow up, trust your school system and learn all you can. You will need education to build your path towards a bright future. Your country probably has a national curriculum to guide schools. In Brazil, the central bank introduced a financial education program integrated with national curriculum named Aprender Valor. That means learning value. Financial education is presented with language, social studies, and math. School managers and teachers receive training and are offered ready-to-use school projects based on a three-pillar foundation: planning, saving, and borrowing. These pillars are essential for developing behaviors that positively impact the financial future of students. Are there financial education programs in your country, in your school? Learning something practical and useful is never too much. You probably spend hours of your day in front of a mobile phone or TV, and that's okay. The international and television may support education or distract you from the learning process. I suggest you to discuss what you are watching with your parents and teachers. They will be able to help you judge how trustworthy the content is. Is it just for fun or is it educational too? Finally, remember that you will spend most, if not all, of your life working and studying. So choose subjects and activities that you enjoy, that you are passionate about. Doing what you enjoy and enjoying what you do will certainly help you. Choose remarkable examples to follow and do everything possible to acquire knowledge and skills. Follow your dreams, study hard, combine theory and practice, listen to your talents, be prouder of yourself, enjoy life, and have fun. Back to you, Alessandra.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, have fun. And remember, it's a long, long game. So make sure you enjoy what you're doing and you can do it for many, many years to come. So Ms. Vidyadhari Devi, would you like to add to that?
Yes, thank you. I think Mauricio already spoke a lot about what's being asked, but I would like to add some points that the question is very good. The relationship between education, job opportunities, and future income, and the teacher was very correct. But I would like to say something here that is a bit different, that yes, it's correct. It's have a very positive correlation, but it doesn't guarantee. If you have a good education, a job opportunity, and you have a future wealth in the future, it's also depend on how you can manage your money well. Because we often see that lots of people, they have a good job, they have a big income, but every month they end up with, debt sometimes. So it's very important for young people, for you to be able to manage your income, your money correctly. So you have to learn from very early, because it say that the best investment is investing in yourself. The more you learn, the more you will earn. And there are some tips for young people about investing. I write down some of the tips. Have some liquid assets, do some diversity, keep debt low relative to asset. And very important that you have to know yourself, what your goal in the future, and set your goal, set a schedule or deadline on your investment, and get support from people who are maybe your parents or people who are expert in the matters. Always give the best of you, and sometimes if we make mistakes are okay, as the very normal. If we learn something, sometimes we make mistake, and be kind to yourself. And I would like to say that financial literacy has become the essential life skill for everyone. Whatever you do, whatever your passion is, whatever your what you want to do in the future, but you have to have essential life skill to make you can do whatever you love without being worried about financial, but you have to prepare it from a fairly early age. I think that's all from me, Alexandra. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to both of you for the excellent advice. So now we move on to our last question. The question comes from Iman in Morocco. Let's see it.
Hello, my name is Iman Bqal, student at the National School of Business and Management of Casablanca in Morocco, and I'm pleased to take part in the launch of the Global Money Week 2023. My question for the panel is, what do you think young people at my age should know about financial matters to prepare for their future? Thank you.
All right, that's a good question. A very big thank you to Iman then. For this one, I'd call upon Ms. Muzardi and Mr. Chopra. Would you like to begin, Ms. Muzardi?
Thank you very much for this great question. And there are so many things that are useful at your age to know. And I just have too little time to mention all of them. But I want to mention at least a few which I think are truly essential. The first one is to remind you that all young people are very rich in one resource, and that resource is time. Time is very important in finance, and young people should make good use of it. For example, if you start saving when young, wealth will grow a lot over your life, and you can realize big projects, make your dreams come true. So use well that great resource that you all young people have. Second, and in line with the theme of Global Money Week this year, is plan for your future. Make plans, set objectives for the future. Do you want to go to the university? Do you want to travel abroad, buy a bicycle? What are your objectives? The more you plan and prepare for it, the more you can achieve your objectives. This means learning how to budget, how to keep track of expenses, learn about a balance sheet so you can measure and keep track of your wealth. These are very important pieces of information and knowledge. And third, I want to reconnect a bit with what was mentioned earlier by another young person. Remember that education is an investment. And in the same way in which you can invest in financial instruments, for example, stocks, you can also invest in knowledge. For example, by going to college or taking training courses. That higher knowledge normally results in higher income over the lifetime. So it's very important for a young person to evaluate whether the costs incurred in gaining that additional education are actually lower than the higher income that one can get over the lifetime by going to college or acquiring more education. And I always have in mind the line by a big inventor, Benjamin Franklin, who said that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So do consider that investment. But speaking of the life cycle, there are so many basic concepts that you should know to be able to make financial decisions that you shouldn't take just this simple advice or these simple tips I'm providing today. I would like you to take a personal finance course. Ask for your school to provide a course so you are really equipped and better able to make this decision. Because financial literacy today is an essential piece of knowledge, as important as and basic as reading and writing. And if your school doesn't offer it, just work with your teachers and perhaps do a project on it. And enjoy learning and be curious. Be curious.
Thank you. Yes, be curious is always the rule for young people. So, Mr. Chopra, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I actually agree with a lot of what Professor Lusardi has said, but I just want to add a little bit of color because I think some people really feel a deep sense of shame when they don't really understand all of the terminology and all of the lingo. And we really have to fight back against that because I think the shaming, including of young people, is actually what makes many of them give up. And I just think that's really fundamentally wrong. Effective financial education, we say this at the CFPB, is also a lot about empathy. Understanding, even at a young age, you may make a mistake, maybe a big financial error, but that doesn't mean that you're permanently destined to be someone who can't have control over their financial life or steward their path forward in a way that really enriches them over the long term. So, you know, at the CFPB, we've done quite a bit of research. And in some ways, we think about financial health just like physical health. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have places where you move forward. And I'll share a little bit about some of the things that we have learned through that research. Many people we talk with point to lessons they learned in childhood, and these conversations became what we call the building blocks of youth financial capability. And rather than teaching specific content that is soon forgotten, our approach means helping young people build executive function, acquire skills, habits, and values, and practice conscious decision-making skills. And the primary channels for instilling these building blocks are at home, at school, and through communities. So by executive function, we mean, what can we do to make it easier to plan, focus our attention, remember details? In terms of habits, we think about how do we create standard practices and rules of thumb around financial matters, which help us kind of automatically navigate and steer from pitfalls. And I think as Professor Lusardi said, what can we do to build financial knowledge and decision-making skills? So most major financial decisions that adults make in the US require them to evaluate the truthfulness of advertisers, gather unbiased financial information through research, and consider trade-offs. And I think really, I mentioned earlier about skepticism. I think that is really just so critical, is to maintain that high degree of skepticism, to spot when you think things don't look right, to know who to go to for help, and hopefully to assert your legal rights when things go wrong. I want to invite everyone around the world to visit consumerfinance.gov. The US has invested a lot in this work, and we have all sorts of rubrics that are available to everyone around the world in terms of how to look at financial health, in terms of how we can use these principles to advance things forward. I think, Alessandra, my big takeaway for everyone and for this group is we're not going to win if we try and shame people. We will only go forward if we can arm people with skills and skepticism, because there's so much money advertising on the other side. And ultimately, we know that financial health has a physical impact on all of us, and we should treat it that way.
Thank you so much. Yes, we need to take away that fear, but also arm young people with skepticism, because it is very complicated, and it's understandable that then they're confused and afraid. So thank you so much for your advice. So this ends this part, this last section of our day today with all of you, and I'd really like to thank all of our speakers, from Mr. Chopra, Mr. Al Youssef, Ms. Vidyasari Devi, and Mr. Costa Damura, and Ms. Luzardi. I think it was really useful. Thank you as well to all our young people who participated, who sent questions, and who have been watching with us. So thanks once again for this. And now we move to our final part, so to our closing remarks. And for our closing remarks, we will have Flor-Anne Messi, who will be speaking. Flor-Anne Messi is OECD Senior Counselor. She joined the OECD in June 2000 to develop the activities of the Insurance and Private Pensions Committee. And after several years working on the development of pensions, insurance, and financial market policy issues, she launched and steered the OECD work on financial literacy and consumer protection. So very essential and important work, particularly for some of the things that we are discussing today. Important also, for example, the task force on financial consumer protection that was launched. And so I would really like to thank Ms. Messi for being with us, and I give the floor to her for the closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Alessandra, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you all. Let me just say that this session today is the 11th of this Global Money Week, and this roundtable was, I thought, one of the best, if I may say so, in terms of the really interesting interaction between the students and between policymakers. And I think that this is really showing the power and how good this campaign can be. Again, I would like to thank all of you from around the world, and I know that there are many that are participating online and many countries that are participating. And I'd like to thank colleagues who have intervened before me, of course, all the panelists. Again, I thought this was really excellent, and this event was especially engaging and actually very exciting in a way, because we see that the issues or the questions that younger people are thinking about can have a response in the policy making. So, of course, we are approaching the end of this global launch, and I would like to take a few moments to reflect on what has been achieved since the last year and to look to the future, of course. Since the last Global Money Week, many things have changed. Europe has been engulfed in a war which has caused terrible suffering and has affected the world economy. Many countries around the world have been severely affected by natural events, including devastating climate change events, which impacted millions of people. The cost of living, and this is very important, dramatically increased in many countries, causing more people to fall into poverty and hunger. And here I want to say it's the cost of living, the energy, the food prices. So really, I would say products that are essential for people to live. So it's been, in a nutshell, a very difficult year for many around the globe. In this changing, dramatic context, I have to think about the young generation, the boys and the girls, and I was very happy to see that there was a question specifically about girls and women and how they actually develop their finances. I think it is essential, and we need to think, of course, we are thinking about your future, young generation future. You have many challenges that you will need to face, many difficult decisions that you will need to make in a world that is actually changing a lot. And there are many new issues. There was a very good question on crypto, and I'm myself following social media, and I can relate to that question. There is a lot of pushing and marketing, and here again, policymakers can provide answers. So the world, as we know, is, as I said, changing, but finance is still very much central to this change. Actually, finance is almost a part of any decision that we are making as human beings. And this is the reason why financial literacy is and will remain an essential skill for young people that they will need to master to not only assess the risk, and this was mentioned, of course, in the panel today, but also to make sure that they have the ability and the choice to be fearless, as Anna Maria Luzardi put it. Of course, financial education is not what it was 20 years ago, when actually some of us started talking about that, and when the OECD work started on this issue. We have learned so much in this journey. what is taught and how it is taught has evolved over the last year. We have integrated new ways to deliver financial education and incorporated new concepts, new ideas, and focused on issues that have emerged as disruptions and became mainstream. We understood that financial education can support outcome at both individual and societal level. It can empower individuals through financial resilience and financial well-being, but also contribute to inclusive and sustainable growth, and more broadly, have positive outcome for society and the environment. We will never stop evolving and learning. And here, I want to specifically mention actually another launch that is just happening now. We are just about to launch a journal, a new research journal on financial literacy and well-being. Well-being being ultimately the outcome of financial literacy. And of course, this journal will also contribute to us learning more about what works and what doesn't work in terms of financial literacy. Now, coming back to the Global Money Week and the organization which have participated in the campaign over the past years, they have adapted to this changing context and have surprised us and impressed us every year with new ideas and ways of delivering engaging financial education through workshops, lectures, fairs, competition, singing contests, marches, and so much more to support young people face the challenges of tomorrow. I'm actually amazed every year by the ingenuity of some participants and of you in your countries. This year's theme, Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future, has highlighted this connection between individual action and society at large. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what innovative activities countries and organizations around the world have prepared in relation to this year's theme. Let me also take the opportunity at the end of the launch to thank once again all involved in the Global Money Week this year. Firstly, big thanks to the Bank of Italy for stepping forward to co-organize the Global Money Week launch event this year. Thanks to the two teams of the Bank of Italy, Magda, of course, Carlotta, Eugenio, Claudia, and others. And of course, I'd like to thank very much from the bottom of my heart, the OECD team that's worked a lot, I would say, tirelessly on the launch. Chiara, Valeria, Eva, Bianca, thank you very much. I also want here to thank someone that is not here today, but I would like to thank Vasco Cavalcanti for actually steering the work of the working group on the Global Money Week inside the INFI. The Global Money Week would also not be what it is without strategic partners, such as the G20 presidency. So thank you very much again, India this year, Indonesia last year, and all the presidency in the past for supporting us. Thank you to all the policymakers from around the world that commit year on year to making money part of the conversation in all types of platforms and channels, and to thousands of organizations that participate, putting tireless effort in making this campaign a success. Thank you very much to the Global Money Week Working Group also, members for their stewardship in supporting the Global Money Week. And thank you to all the young people that are participating in the campaign, and to those, of course, that have sent us their question today. Aurora and Sofia from Italy, Kule and Bulevensko from South Africa, Imani from Morocco, Matteo from Ecuador, and Dasha from Ukraine. Thank you also to the institution that helped us reach out to them and gather their question. The Bank of Italy, the National Bank of Ukraine, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority of South Africa, the Superintendencia de Bancos y Seguros of Ecuador, and la Fondation Marocaine pour l'Éducation Financière. Thank you all very much. We hope this Global Money Week will be interesting, insightful, and full of learning opportunities for all of you. I wish you all to have fun this year, because money is also about having fun and more choices in life, and to enjoy the Global Money Week. Thank you very much. I think I'm concluding here, but I know that there will be a poll that will be put up. So I will ask my team to perhaps do that. And with that, I'd like to thank you all. A very good day, a very good afternoon, a very good night for some of you joining from some part of the globe. Thank you so much. and see you around. We want to hear from your success.
Thank you. Thank you to Flora and Missy. So just one last thing while you answer the poll, those of you who are able to answer, I'd just like to ask our participants if they could turn on their cameras because the organizers wanted to take a photo. We are unfortunately not together physically, but we can be together virtually. And thank you. I can see people turning on their cameras, so thank you very much. So we'll just wait a second for that to happen. And so I'll just add my voice to all the thanks. I thought this was really quite exciting. As a journalist, I truly enjoyed it. I love the questions. I love the practical answers that all of you have given. I wish I had had that when I was much younger, studying economics and, before I began this career of working in some way, in a way connected to finance. So truly, thank you very much, Global Money Week. Thank you, Bank of Italy and OECD. And of course, thank you to G20 Presidency, India. All right, I think we also have our picture. We have managed to get our picture. So thank you also to all the young people who participated, who sent questions, and who have been watching. I hope you found this as useful as I did and you enjoyed. Thanks to everyone.